So hello guys, let's start. So welcome to the third session of Android Study Jams. Till now we have covered all the basics and intermediate concepts in Android, Recycler View, the activities, the activity lifecycle, Kotlin fundamentals. Today I'm going to cover the main aspect which is used in any development, the database part. So let's yeah. So today I am going to teach you Room database with Notes app. So we will see how we can create a proper Notes app where we can save our notes, any notes which we want to. Uh, so first, let's see the concepts we will use in today's app. So the first thing we are going to use is view model and the view model and live data, which is the part of view like Android architecture component. Then we will make a repository and a room database. So I'll directly move towards the code lab which we have, which we it's included in the Android track from Google. So first, let's see what is architecture components. Okay. So this is the whole architecture we will use today in our app. So we are using a whole UI controller. That means a class, a main activity class, which will interact with the UI part, that is activity or fragment or any UI changes. Then we have a view model, and inside the view model, we have live data. So what happens, let's say when we are interacting with some heavy interactions, like some heavy operations, for example, whenever we are interacting with a database or we are calling a networking call or API call. So at that time, we are not sure whether we'll get an answer for that or not, or whether that answer can or that call can take a long time. So that's why it's always better to separate the UI part with the model, that is database part. So that's why here we are using a view model. So what a view model does, all the data which is shown on the UI, that is the activity, it stores to itself. It stores all the data and manages all the data which we are going to store. So whenever, let's say, the view model is interacting with the database here, and let's say it calls an query in the room database and it doesn't work. So at that time, the whole app won't crash. Only this part won't work, but the UI, the front end will properly work. The front end won't be affected by the bug which is there in the database or view model part. Yeah, so let's just see the definition of each thing. So first is view model. As I told, it holds all the data needed for the UI. And in the UI itself, we have live data. So in the last session, I told you what was view model and what was live data. We made an app, small app, where we used view model and live data, where I was making any changes. So let's say whenever our phone is in a horizontal orientation, and when we change from horizontal to vertical orientation, the app, the activity life cycle start again. That means the activity life cycle again start from on create to on destroy. For example, let me just show you the activity life cycle. Yeah. So what happens whenever the app changes orientation, or we just delete that app at that point of time, that time the app get the activity, each activity get destroyed. And whenever the activity is getting destroyed, all the data it has at that moment, it get destroyed, and it get lost. You cannot get that data again. And then again the activity starts create from on create. So that's why, if anything, we have made any changes in the code. Just a minute. Sorry for the disturbance. So that's why whenever we are making any, let's say we are making any changes with the UI, and let's say we change the orientation from vertical to horizontal, that time the UI data will get lost and we won't get the data again. So that's why we store that data into view model, so that every time the data is lost, every time our activity is calling on destroy and again it's getting created, we can again get the data from view model, that is the last change data from the view model, and show to the user. So again, live data is a part of view model which helps to notify the UI whenever a changes are done. So let's see here. So a live data is a data holder class that can observe all the changes, or all the changes are there in the view model and show in the UI. It always hold caches the latest version of data and notifies its observer whenever the data has changed. Yeah. So let's say you're working again. Now we are using a view model and we are working on, like, we are using an app and we are changing some data there. And at that time, the live data will observe that some data has changed and it will store that data automatically in the view model. Yeah, and it is a life cycle aware. The live data is life cycle aware. What this means is it's only work when it is needed. That means whenever the app is in between on create and on destroy, only that time it is working. It is not working whenever the app is not active. So that time that, so it saves the memory by that. That's again C. Yeah. So UI component just observe relevant data and don't stop or resume observation. Live data automatically manages all of this since it's aware of the relevant life cycle status while observing. Yeah. So let's see what is view model. It acts as a communicator between the repository and the UI. The UI no longer need to worry about the origin of data. View model instead survive activity regression. Yeah. So again, the same thing which I said, the UI doesn't have to worry about from where we will get the data. The view model will provide the data to it. The view model will interact with the room database and it will provide the data to the main activity. Yeah. And a repository. So a class that you create that is primarily used to manage multiple data source. So let's say here in this project we are only interacting with a database, that is room database, but let's say we are also making an API call. We also want to get some data from the internet. So that time it's always better to make the calls or interact with the database using a repository and store and get all the data in the repository. And then see, it's single source of truth for all app data. It 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 works as a clean API between the view model and the database. That means, let's say it's also making a networking call here, it's also interacting with the database, and it's getting all the data in the repository. And that data in the repository we are storing inside the view model here, a class that creates that is primarily used to manage multiple data sources. Yeah. So this is the whole architecture. We will make each class for each thing, that is each one class for main activity, one class for view model, one class for repository, and a room database. So let's move to the room database now. So room database is a wrapper on the SQLite database. So SQLite generally before 2017, if we want to make any data, if we want to use any database to store any data in Android, we always preferred SQLite. SQLite was the default option to use a database in the Android development. So just to remove the boilerplate code and make the database interaction more robust, Google in 2017 introduced Room Database, which reduces the number of code and which just make the whole work interacting with database easy. Let's just see Room Database. It simplifies database work and serves as an access point to the underlying SQLite database. It hides the complex thing when you will interact with the SQLite, like SQLite, Open Helper, and all that. The Room database uses DAO to issue queries to SQLite database. Yeah, I will tell you this. So let's see. So inside the Room database only, there are three components. The first component is entity. Second component is DAO, that is data access objects. That means how you will store all the data into you will call all the queries which you want to interact with the SQLite here. So entity, it's same as a table in SQL. How we used to make table, how we make usually table in SQL, where we have different columns and we store different data. We make some key primary key, some foreign key. Same thing works in entity. It works same as a table. Sorry, annotated class that describes a database table when working with room. Yeah, so you can just consider entity as a table. Room database. Yeah, I just told you this. DAO, so data access objects. So all the interaction part with the SQLite, not the room database. So as I told you, room database is just a wrapper, is just a framework which actually stores the data into SQLite. So all the queries which you will write, which will store the database into SQLite, we write in DAO. All the insert query, update query, delete query, we write in DAO, which actually interacts with the SQLite here. Mapping of SQL queries to functions. Yeah, we write different functions for queries. I'll go there. When you use a DAO, you call the methods, and room takes care of the rest. Yeah, you will see this when we use DAO. We just have to call the method we have implemented. Rest room database will take care of everything. So this is the overall architecture, in-depth architecture we will use. Instead of Word, we will use Note. That is a Note view model, Note adapter, Note repository, and Note database. The same to same model we will use today. So the first thing you guys have to do is just open the Android Studio, create an empty app. That's it. Once you have created the app, so then now let's go to the app. Considering the time, I have already created the app, but I'll explain you each class and each line of code. No? So when you will create the empty activity, the first thing you have to do is just copy this plugins, open the build.gradle and copy these dependencies. So so just go to build.gradle here. Yeah. So just go to build.gradle here. Build.gradle module, and whenever you'll go, just copy paste the implementation of that. So what happens, uh, android android studio doesn't have all the code which is written for different frameworks. Let's say all the code for room database, all the code for recycler view. So we have to implement that package here. So same thing, we are implementing the room database here, implementing the dependencies. Just copy paste this same code there. And once you copy paste, then you also have to add the Kotlin capped plugin inside the plugins. So you can go at the top and you can add Kotlin capped plugin here. Yeah. So once you are done with that, we can go forward. Yeah. So before creating an entity, I'll just explain you the UI of this project. So yeah. So this is the UI which I have made. I've used a simple activity for this. So the first is on top, I've used the edit text, for which I have given ID as EDT note. After that, I have used a button for which I have given an ID BT and add. And after that, I have used a recycler view where we will store each note of this. Don't worry about the code. After the lecture, I'll just share my GitHub repository, so you can just run the app from GitHub, or else you can just copy paste the code looking at the GitHub. And for recycler view, as we know, so those students who attended the recycler view lecture might know that for recycler view, we make a separate layout which works for each recycler view. Yeah. So this is the separate each layout for each view of recycler view. So I have just used one text view, one image view. So I have used one delete image view. So what will happen whenever a user will create will whenever the user will enter some string here, and whenever he will submit that note, that note will get uh, like stored in the database, and it will be showed here that you have like you have make this notes here. And whenever you want to delete that note, you can just click the delete button here, that is this, you can just click this image, and automatically this note will get deleted. So this is the UI. Okay, so let's go to the entity. Yeah. So once you make the UI part, that is the main activity, and the node for the recycler view, then now we will start from the from database part. That is, we will first make an entity here. Once we are done with the entity, then we will make a DAO here. Then we will make the room database. Then we will make the repository, then view model, and then the main activity. So before starting, I'll again explain a little bit about the view model. So as I told you, to just separate the complex interactions or heavy operations, we separate the all the code by using view model. That is a view model and model. A model is a database you can consider as, and view is the main activity which interacts with the UI. So just to separate the code, whenever we are making an interaction with database, we do that with view model, so that if anything went wrong, our view will work properly. The app won't crash. Or else, if you directly interact the view with the model, then if anything went wrong, then the app will directly get crash, and, and then you won't make any changes. Let me just, yeah. So after that, the first thing now you have to do is just to make an entity, that is the table. So you guys can see here they have made a word entity. Similarly, we will make a class activity. So just to make a class as a table, all you have to do is just to write @entity. That's it. Once you give an annotation of @entity, that class becomes an entity. And yeah, and if you want to give a separate name to the table, if you don't give a name, it automatically takes the class name as a default name for the table. But if you want to give a separate name, you can just give the table name is equal to whatever string you want to give. Here they have given word table. Yeah. And and then which whatever arguments you will give here, whatever parameters you will give here, the data members, all of that are considered as a column inside the table. So here the id of this word is considered as a one column, and here the word is considered as second column. So you can see this column, we have made a primary key to that. So by just adding @primary key in front of val id int, it we gives the id primary key. And yeah, and by default it takes the column name as a name which we have specified for the variable. Or else if you want to give a name, separate name, then you can just write @column info, and as a name you can give the word. So the same thing I have copied in my code. Let's just go in the Java folder, the first package, and just open the node folder. So you guys can see, I'll just zoom. So you guys can see We have made a class note. Just we have made a class note, and I am taking a text as a constructor, as a note. So whenever anyone will call note, he has to give a text which we will store inside the note. And I have given a default name as note text. You guys just saw that default it will take the column name as text, but you can give the column name as name note text. Similarly here, whenever you write an entity above the class, it will make the whole class as a table, and you can just give the table name as whatever you want. And here again, uh, I have made id as a primary key. So you guys can see this auto generate. So what does auto generate means? That means whenever a new instance will get created for that id, it will auto increment the id. That means you guys can see currently the id is 0. At, for the first instance of this object, for the node object, the id will be 1. It will auto generate the id. Then for second instance it will be 2. For third instance it will be 3. So similarly, as many instances we will create for this nodes app, it will give the id. It will increment the id for that. So you guys got to know how we create id. Class node, a constructor in Kotlin. I have taken a val text from the user and given them as a column info column. Second variable id, I make them as a primary key, and I have written auto generate so that it will auto generate the primary key. So why we did this? That means because, as you guys know, primary key is always unique. It uniquely identifies all the rest of the uh, rest columns basically. So that's why we want that the id should always be unique. That's why we have made it auto generate. So once we are done with the entity, we can go and now create the DAO. So you guys can see like this the table will work. So let's go to the DAO. So what is DAO? It is a data access object. We specify SQL queries here and associate them with the method calls. The compiler checks the SQL and generate queries for convenience annotations for common queries such as insert. Similarly, I'll show you this now. Yeah. So you guys can see here they have made a word DAO. So what they have did to make a line as your query, to make a function as your query, all you have to do is just give them a annotation that is insert. Whenever you will give a insert annotation, it will default take this as a insert query. If you want to give a function a separate query, let's say we want to make a select query, so you can just write @query, and you can just give your query whatever you want, so that this function will take this query. And similarly for delete query. So the same code I have copied here. Let's go to the node DAO. So just to make interface as DAO, all we have to do is to annotate this the interface with DAO @DAO. Also, we make the DAO as an interface always because we will implement this function inside the repository. So that's why we are just making this DAO as a interface. Yeah. So the first thing we do is we make a function that is fun insert, and we take a note here so that we will insert a note inside the database. Whenever we are storing a note has a whole note, we will store it into the database. And we are making same, we are using insert queries. So what is this on conflict? Let's say when when two when two nodes are similar, when two nodes will be similar to each other, that means they are conflicting with each other. the I want that my app should automatically ignore that. If I have already made stored a note as Sahil, and I'm again making a separate note called Sahil, that my app should understand the fact that I've already stored Sahil and I should ignore the Sahil again. So that means whenever an conflict will occur, it will automatically ignore that conflict. So this can happen by just writing on conflict is equal to on conflict strategy is dot ignore. Yeah. Again, to write a delete query, all we have to do is delete here, function delete note, delete, and and we are writing a separate function for to get all the note. This will get all the notes from the database. That means all the notes which are there stored in the database in the table, it will get the notes, and it will get, see, the query is select star from notes table. That means this is a notes table, order by id. So by id, by increasing id, it will get all the notes which is stored in the table, and it will show. That means, and again you guys can see this, we have made a live data. So I'll explain you why. Whenever I'll explain the note repository, at that time I'll explain you why we have made this live data. So we have made a DAO now, but you guys can see that all the functions which I am interacting with the database, I am inserting or getting, I am making them as suspend. So we use suspend whenever we are using coroutines. So coroutines, I'll explain when we will write the whole coroutines code inside the view model. But whenever we are using coroutines, we write suspend. Whenever we want to use coroutines for a certain operation or a function, we make that function as suspend. So again, I have used suspend here, suspend here. That means, so yeah, you guys can just learn more about this by just going to the room database official documentation and Android developers documentation. Yeah, so let's go observing database here. So once we are done with that part, so now we will create a database. So there is a boilerplate code for database whenever we want to make a database. So let's see. Uh, your room database class must be extract and extend room database. Create a Kotlin file called word room database and add this code. So this is a boilerplate code whenever you will make a database. So we will just same copy paste this code, and we will just change the word with a node. That means word with a node, word room database with node database. So I have used the same code here inside room database. Yeah. So you guys can see here, to just make this node database class as a database, we use the database annotation, and inside the database annotation we give three parameters. That means the first is the array. This array consists of the number of tables we have in a database. Let's say we have three tables. A database can consist of many tables, 3, 5, anything. But here we are only using one table, so that's why I have just added a note. Let's say we made one more table as a word, so that at that time we have to just write word here. Yeah. The second parameter is a version. So whenever you define a schema for your database, at that time you have whenever you define a schema for the first time, at that time your version is 1. So whenever you are changing the schema, at that time your version automatically get increments, and it changes from version 1 to 2. And the third thing is export schema. So this is again, whenever you will change the schema, you will use this, but you guys can just ignore that for now. Then we are just making an abstract class node database which will extend room database. Yeah. And this is a boilerplate code for the database. So what does companion object means? So whenever we want that our class should only our class should only initialize one. That means only one object should get only one object instance should get created for this class. We don't want that at the same time many different instances should work, because we know that the database is going to do heavy operations. It's going to interact with the SQLite database. It will take the DAO, it will take the node. So at that point we just want that only it should be a singleton class. What does a singleton class mean? That only one instance can be created of that class. That means singleton prevents multiple instances of a database opening at the same time. Yeah. That means only one instance can be created at a time. So we can do that by using simple companion object. And this is a boilerplate of the database code. You can just copy paste this from the the code lab. We are making this initializing room database, and we are just interacting here with the SQL database. And this is just a boilerplate code. Again, we are just making room.database builder. We are building the database by taking node database as a this default database, and we are storing a name, giving a name for the database as node database. Yeah. So let's go forward. Yeah. So as I told you, why we use repository? A repository class abstract access to multiple data resources. That means whenever we will interact with different heavy operations like a networking call, like a database, we use a repository so that all the calls which will be done for the API call or database call, it will all the data will get inside the repository, and that repository data we can store inside the view model, and then the UI can take that code from the view model. So similarly here it is just example where we are taking the data from the DAO, that is the database, and a network call. Why we use a repository? A repository manage queries and allows you to use multiple backends. Yeah. In the most common example, the repository implement the logic for deciding whether to fetch data from a network or results actually in the local database. Again, you guys can see here they have just created one. Let's directly go to the node repository. So now we are done with the database part. That means we have created the entity, that is where we will store the data inside the table, node table. We have made a data access object. That means how we will interact with the SQLite by using queries, that is insert query, delete query, or any other query, and the room database which will operate all these three things at once. So we are done with that part. So now we are just making a repository. So what a repository will do, it will just call all the objects which is there. So first thing is we made a well all nodes. That means that will call node DAO dot get all nodes. That will call node DAO, and uh, it will implement this query, that is select star from node table order by synchronous. Then yeah, then we are just implementing the insert function which we made in the node DAO. That is it will call again, it is giving the a note which this insert function will take. That means it will just a minute. That means this function will take a node and it will pass to the node DAO insert function, and then the node DAO insert function will store this node inside the SQLite table. Again, similar delete, we are making a function from delete which is taking a node, and then it will go inside the DAO and it will pass this node, and then the database will automatically delete this node in the database. Yeah, that's all. And again, As I told you, we are using coroutines here. That's why we have made this function as suspend. I will explain what is coroutines when we'll go to view model. So that's all in repository. We are just taking a note down. Let's say we are also calling a API call or a networking call. So at that time, we will just write the API code network here. So that means here we are getting all the data which we want. We'll get all the nodes in all nodes. We will get whenever we'll insert something, we can call this function insert. Whenever we'll delete something, we can call this function delete. So we are done with the repository. Let's yeah, we are done with the repository. We can now go to the view model. Yeah. So so a view model will store all the activity data. As I told you, a view model is a role. View model's role is to provide data to the UI and survive configuration changes. What configuration changes means that whenever we change the orientation of phone, that means we make from vertical to horizontal. That means he has changed its configuration, and whenever we change the configuration, the activity automatically calls, like the activity get destroyed and again calls on create. So whenever, as I told you, it will get destroyed, the all the data which is there stored on the UI, it will get lost. And whenever on create will work, it will again call the data. So let's say when the UI is working, when the UI is interacting, when when the UI is interacting with the this when the UI is directly interacting with the model, and whenever every time we change the orientation, it will again make a API call. So every time we delete the activity or we move to the next activity, that activity get deleted, it will again every time on create will get run, it will make a new API call. So at that time, the app can hang a lot, app can lag a lot. Yeah, the app will work very slowly. So that's how view model helps us whenever we are working with Android development. We are making some complex apps where we are using room database or any networking call. A view model holds your app UI data in a lifecycle conscious way that survives configuration changes. What does lifecycle concise way means? That it only works when the activity is created and in between the on destroy. Once on destroy is there, it won't work. Separating your app UI data from activity fragment classes let you better flow the single responsibility principle. Your activity and fragments are responsible for drawing your data to the screen, while your view model can take care of holding and processing all the data needed for UI. Yes. So I'll directly go to the view model. Yeah. So this is the view model now. So what we are doing, we have made a class note view model, and we are just extending it to Android view model. Yeah, and we have declared a variable called repository, that is the note repository. This, and again here we are calling, we are getting all the, we are making just declaring it all nodes variable. So what we want, whenever a view model will declare, whenever a view model will is called in the init block, or where that init block is a block, whenever the constructor is invoked, the code which is there in the init block gets run. So whenever a new instance or object of node view model will be called, it will automatically create a DAO. You guys can see it will automatically make a nodes, it will automatically call node database dot get database. It will automatically call this function here. It will call node database dot get database, and it will give the application, the same application here. The application, it means the current app instance dot get database dot get node DAO. So again, it will go inside the node DAO. It will go inside this, and it will get the node DAO. Just a minute. Repository. Okay, this is inside the node database. Sorry. Yeah. So then again we will initialize the initialize the repository with the node repository, where we are giving the instance of DAO. That is, we are calling here, we have just declared the repository, but here we will initialize the repository with a node DAO. Again, we will initialize the all nodes with repository.all nodes. That means it will go again in the repository and it will call all nodes here. Yeah. Then the same thing which we did inside that, that is function delete node, that whenever the UI wants any data, or when the UI wants to store a note, the UI will call this function in the view model, that is function insert node. Okay, the UI will call a insert node. It will this insert node will run, it will go to the repository, then the repository, this function will get run, it will go in the node DAO, and then finally this main query will get run and that node will be inserted in the database. That's how the whole hierarchy works. First view model, then the repository, then the DAO, and then the main database. So you guys can see here we have written this code, that is repository dot insert node, inside a view model scope. So this is a coroutine scope. So let me explain you coroutine a little bit in depth. So what does coroutine means? So again, let's now see the app in the thread perspective. So let's say you are making a, you are directly calling the delete node. Okay, you're directly calling the database. Let's go here. Let's say you are directly interacting with the database here, and you are interacting with the database on the main thread, on the main UI thread. So whenever you are interacting with the UI thread, let's say again, you don't know how much time it will take. It can take 5 seconds, it can take 2 minutes according to the system RAM and the processor. You don't know how much exact time that functionality will take to insert the node in the database or to delete that node in the database. So by the time we get the output for that function call, let's say the UI has called to, UI has given a node to insert inside the database, and we have called the insert node, and then it will go to the repository, then node DAO, and then it will call the insert. But you don't know the exact time that this operation will take. This can take 5 seconds to 5 minutes. So until this operation is working, if you do that on the main thread, your app will get stuck. You can't do anything by on that time by on your app. You can't, you will not able to click any button or do anything on that app. That app will just get stuck by the time this operation is working, because it is working on the main thread. Let me just see if I can explain you this with a diagram. Mhm. Yeah, you guys can just see here that whenever we are working on the same main thread, it can be, yeah, it can be a thing. You guys just can see this diagram, that whenever you're working with the main thread, until the operation is done, the main thread will get blocked and the UI will get stuck, because the whole UI is done on the main thread. So that's why what coroutine does is, coroutine just do that functionality or runs that operations on a background thread. So whenever you will write anything inside the coroutine scope, this operation now will be done on a background thread. So that means it, whether it can take 2 minutes or 2 seconds or 1 minute, all the operations we can just run our app by that time. We can do anything on our app that time. Our app screen will not get blocked. This operation will be done on a background thread. Similarly, same insert and delete. this operation, because we are using coroutines, this operation will be done on a background thread. So how we use coroutines? So which all functions we want coroutines to run on, we just simply make them suspend. So you guys can see we are making all the functions as suspend from node DAO. Suspend function insert, suspend function delete, again here suspend function insert, suspend function delete. So that's why whenever like now here you can just only this do call view model scope dot launch, and you can just give the the thread which you want to work, that is dispatcher.io, and whatever code which you will run inside this scope, that is the coroutine scope, will be done on a background thread. That's all. You guys can just remove this. You can see you will automatically get an error here, because that suspend functions should be called only from a coroutine. That means because you have written suspend there in this repository.delete, you now have to use coroutine there, or else you have to remove the suspend. If you normally make this call, the whole operation, the whole call will be done on a main thread, and your screen will get blocked whenever this operation is going. So that's why we use the coroutines here. You can just learn more about coroutines by just looking the official documentation, like Android developer official documentations. Yeah. To use coroutines, as we just implemented this dependency, we also have to implement this dependency in build Gradle. So all the dependency which I want to use, I have already implemented the room component, lifecycle component, everything. You guys can see here, see, I have implemented the coroutines. This, yeah. So let's again go to the view model. So that's it for a view model. We have written, we are declaring the DAO whenever we are calling the node view model, and the function delete node and insert node, we are calling it, so that all the operations from here, the node repository and node DAO, it will be done on a background thread. Yeah. So live data. So let's go to the main activity now. So the uh, first thing we are doing in the main activity, that the main activity now represents the view, that is the class which will interact with the UI directly. So the first thing we are doing here is writing the recycler view code. We are giving a layout manager, this is linear layout manager. We are giving as an adapter here, same recycler view dot adapter. All these recycler view concepts we have explained in the first session of Android. You can, again, if you don't know, if you don't remember, you guys can just go to the first session and check out the recycler view code. Once you see that, you will understand the recycler view code a little better. After that, once we have done with the recycler view, then we just call the view model. So you guys can see at the top, I have written var view model, that is node view model, and late init. Late init means that I don't want to initialize that thing now. I want to initialize it later whenever I am working. So I'm initializing the view model. So whenever we initialize the view model, we don't initialize with the class, because view model works with the Android system and the life cycle. So we use view model provider. That means it takes the current instance of the activity, and this is a boilerplate code for the uh, view model. That is view model provider. This view model provider dot Android view model factory dot get instance, and then we just have to give the view model which we have made, that is the node view model class. That's it. So now, as I told you, let's say we have made this code, and let's say I have deleted an app. So whenever I delete and this whenever I delete or make any changes in the layout, how will the view model get to know that I have made the changes? At that time, the live data comes into picture. What the live data does, that it observe all the view model functions wherever we have written live data. So it will observe this. It will observe all nodes. Again, it will inside the all nodes. It will observe the repository all nodes, and inside the repository it will observe the node DAO or node. So what will happen, that whenever we will make any changes here, we will implement an observer. What does observer means? That it will observe all the variables where we have initialized live data inside the node repository, inside the view model, inside the node DAO. So everywhere where we have initialized live data, it will observe that variable and see if any changes are there. If any changes are there, it will automatically shown in the UI. Yeah. You guys can see view model dot all nodes. That is the view model dot all nodes. Here we are calling repository dot all nodes dot observe. That means because we made it a life cycle, like a live data, that's why we are calling dot observe. And inside the observe we will pass two functions, that is, one is the current instance and second is observer. So what that observer is doing, it will just observe, and whatever the latest list which we want from all nodes, the latest list of all nodes. You guys can see this list of all nodes. Here we made live data which will consist a list of all nodes. List is same like an array which will have all nodes inside that. Again, in the repository, this is a list of nodes. Inside the view model, it is a list of nodes. So it will observe all the or everywhere where we have made live data, and it will get the latest list of nodes, and we will update the list of nodes here. Yeah. So yeah. So here, uh, I'll just first show you this code. So you guys can see button add. So whenever a user will click submit button, that means he want to insert this note or string which he has entered. He will directly, just a minute. Yeah. Whenever the user click that button, we are running this set on click listener. That means whenever the button will be clicked, this set of code will get run. We are making, yeah, we are getting the string which he passed inside the edit text. That is this string, whichever he will pass inside the edit text. Yeah, we are getting that string, and we are checking if that string is not empty. A user can generally press the submit button, right? We have to check if whether that string is not empty. If that string is not empty, then we will call view model dot insert node. That means we will call view model dot insert node, and we are making a note here, and we are storing the note text here. So what will happen here, it will call note, it will take the note texture, it will go inside the note, it will make a separate node there, it will make a separate node there. Just, yeah, it will make a separate node there, and that node will be inserted inside the view model, and then view model will call repository will call node down, view model dot repository. It will come here. Similarly, repository and node down. Yeah. So we are almost done with everything. Now just the code of the recycler view, which you guys have seen in the first session. The same we have to write. We have to make a separate adapter for recycler view, which will run the whole functionalities of a recycler view. So for that, we have made a separate adapter. This is the adapter code. Yeah. So recycler adapter usually take three parameters, three functions: on create view holder, on bind view holder, and get item count. I will not explain this code into depth. You guys can just go to the first session and see the recycler view code explanation. We have made nodes adapter. We have called recycler view dot adapter. Yes, and same thing. It's just that we have made a separate function here, that is update list. So what will happen? Let's say now we have entered a node inside the database, right? So we have entered a node inside the database. So we want that the updated list should be shown here, right? Now, since the list is updated in the database, the updated list should now be shown inside the activity. So for that, what we do is we call we get the latest list from the observer, and we call up adapter dot update list. That means it will go to the adapter and it will call update list. You guys can see here what we are doing here. We are taking a list. We are first thing, we are making a recycler view clear. That way we are making a recycler view empty, all nodes dot clear, and after that we are just adding all the nodes again to the recycler view, the latest changes in the list. So that's why first we are making all nodes dot clear, all nodes dot add all new list, and notify dataset change. What this line will do, it will just change the mm, screen by the new data. This will clear the recycle. This will clear the list of a recycler view. This will add all the new list items inside the list of recycler view, and this will change the UI. This will notify the UI that something has changed, so you should update the recycler view. Yeah. Once that is done, yeah. So once that is done, then the only thing is remaining now is whenever we will click the delete button. I have initialized the button here inside the item node. That whenever we'll click this button, this whole node should be deleted. Again, yeah. Again, whenever we'll click that mm, for image or that button, we will call view model dot delete node. That means it's deleting that node. That's it. It will again call repository here. It will go to the repository. It will call node DAO dot delete. It will go to the DAO, and then it will delete that node into the this into a database. So when the note is deleted, you guys can see, when since the note is deleted, the list inside the inside the database will get changed. So when the list inside the database will get changed, the live data will notify the main activity observer. So here the main activity observer will observe that the list has changed, and it will again give the latest list to this, and it will update the list in the UI. Yeah, so that's done. So we are done almost with everything. We saw how we made the we made the note class which you will use to store the note. We'll make the note DAO class. We'll make the node database. This is the same boilerplate code which we use for every database. Then node repository, which will interact with the database or any other calls, API calls. Then the view model here, and inside view model we saw how live data, whenever something is changed, it's notify the observer inside the main activity, and inside the main activity the observer will change it. Yep, that's all. I'll just show you by running this app now. Just a minute. I will just show you by running the same app now. And once this is done, you guys can just go to my GitHub and you can run the same code, same app inside your Android Studio. And if you have any, just a minute. Yeah, so you guys can see here is the Notes app. Whenever I click a Notes app, okay, let's say I enter Sahil and I submit it. A note here is created, and since you guys can see, just a minute, whenever we are making whenever we are inserting something, let's yeah, whenever we are inserting something and we are deleting something, we are showing a toast. That means this note is inserted and we are just showing like for how much duration it should show. It should show a short length or long length. Again, whenever we are deleting a node, it will show that this note has been deleted, and it will show for a short length or long length. Again, let's again go this. You guys can Sahil Shirodkar submit. Then you guys can just submit random text. Yeah, you guys can see I am deleting the app now. Okay, and again opening the app, because the notes are stored inside the database, it's not changed. So let's delete something. Let's delete this app, because I clicked the delete button there, the node got deleted, delete, delete. Yeah. So that's how our notes app work. You guys can make it more interacting. Like you can make two different activities. In one activity, you are taking this as a notes, and in second activity, you are uh, storing it. One more similar app I made. Let me just show you. Yeah, so this was the same similar to do app which I made using Room database. So there you can guys can click see this button. Once someone click this button, a different activity gets open where you can just write about the task. Sahel, let's say anything. Okay, you guys can just give a date and a time, and it will automatically give a notification at that time that you have to do this task. And let's say it's related to your personal thing. Okay, and when you save this, it will automatically get saved inside your main activity. Similarly, we can store different, let's say ASG3, we write something and we store one more. Let's say we write anything and we store. So you guys can see like this, you guys can make a app where you are storing. Similarly, here I have made a mm, to do table, that is entity, to do DAO, to do database, to do repository, to do view model, and same thing, same code, nothing different. Just I'm using two activities to do this. And I implemented one more feature inside this, that whenever you will right swipe, that means you are deleting that node, and you are left swipe, that means you have done that task. That means whenever you will right swipe this, that means okay, you have done that task. Whenever you will left swipe, that means you have deleted that, you don't want to do. So like that, this was right, let's say this is left, this is right. So you guys can make a similar app. Yeah. So that's all for today's session. Also, guys, uh, we have shared the form for the Android app registration. So anyone who has a group, you can do it solo, or you can combine with maximum of 4 people, and you guys have to make an app where you are using at least 4 concepts from all the units which I have covered till now. You can just use one room database, view model, recycler view, and normal activity fragments. And you guys can just make same apps. You can just make same to do app with some little more advanced features. I have yeah, I we have shared the link for the form here. If you guys have any queries, or if you have any doubts for anything while making the app, you can reach out to me. You can directly ping me on my WhatsApp, or you can ask the doubts on a WhatsApp group or Discord ASG channel. Thank you for joining today's session. I hope you learned a lot. Mm. So the deadline is 31st. So the deadline for the registration of the app group is 31st, and you guys have to submit the app before 8th Jan. Before 8th Jan, and I've also shared all the doubts or all the topics which you guys have to cover, how you guys have to make the documentation of the app submission uh, on the WhatsApp group. You can guys can see the app submission guidelines there. Any more doubts anyone has? Yeah. Thank you for joining today's session. You guys can leave now.
Thanks.